Yeah. Hello, everyone. Good evening. Really, really excited to be here. Today, we are going to be unpacking what happened at Poti. Poti. Yeah, last month. What can I say? This year has been quite a lot. I mean, where do I begin? Last month we were in France. This month we just came back from Kenya. But then we decided like a lot has been going on in the games industry. We're grateful to those who cover the space like Games Industry Africa, Gas Bros Gaming, Wendy Arts Network. These are some of the few organizations that cover the space. But then it's also very important for like people going for events, conventions, meetings to share with the general public as well as stakeholders in the video games industry what is going on. A lot of people must have seen the LinkedIn post, the pictures here and there saying, oh, we went for Gamers Assembly. And that would most likely have been it. People would not have a clear understanding of what actually happened, why we went there. And that's why we decided let's have this session where we basically call some of the stakeholders together and we have a kind of debrief on it. Yes. Thanks. I see we have people online. Feel free if you're watching on YouTube, LinkedIn, drop your comments. I am Mr. Wayne. Gives us the rocket sign, like, yeah, launching. Really cool. Thank you for that. So, as the conversation goes on, if you have questions, feel free to come in and drop it on the comment section. We'll bring it up on screen and we'll share them and do our best to answer them. So I won't be doing this alone. I'm really excited bringing in from the about 15 delegates from Nigeria that went to Gamer Assembly. We have a total of about four on the call. A total of four on the call. That's really exciting. And these are all industry leaders. These are people at the forefront of the sector pushing for change, for innovation, for profitability in the video games industry of Nigeria. And I'm excited to have them here and be their humble host. So let's bring them on the call. Where do we start? Okay. So we'd start from the lady in the building, the woman at the forefront leading the video games industry, who is really awesome, doing a lot of stuff, running a studio, organizing an event, organizing trainings, and that's in person of Bukola Akinbade. Welcome!
Yay! Very happy to be here.
Yes. Very excited to have you here. We don't have a lot of women in the games industry, and it's always exciting to have you. And also the role you play, which is very crucial. It's not just a small role. You are there breaking frontiers, pushing the industry forward. So yeah, thanks for all you do, and thanks for joining us. Yeah.
Yay!
Now we'll move to the Egbo. We call him Egbo. If you're not Nigerian, Egbo is like elder. So I'm not like saying he's old. I'm just saying like, when you look at the esports sector in Nigeria, this is someone that you can't speak esports in Nigeria without talking about spectacular because he has done something quite spectacular in the industry. So let's bring him onto the stage. Yes, sir, you're live. You're live. We can see you rolling. Yeah, that's such a politician way of greeting, like, hello, everybody, democracy. Yeah, cool. And then we'll have another stakeholder leading in terms of game development. He has been at the beginning of time when Nigerians started building games. Yes, and I'm not going to mention his studio because I'll most likely murder it, but then I'll give you the option. It's either deluxe or deluxe creation studios. Yeah, it's the accent, guys. Trust me, I'm not doing this intentionally. But that's in person of Mr. Edu Shala, who builds awesome games that also generates revenue very rare on the continent. Welcome, sir. Okay. Cool. So we
I
are
won't
all
talk
here.
about how you murdered the name, but it's deluxe, anyways.
Deluxe Creation Studios, guys. Don't mispronounce it. Very important. Especially to those of you that say Africa Comicade. Yeah. But nice to have everyone on the call. How are you today? Where are you calling in from? Yes. How are you? Anyone? I know we are we all in
Well,
Lagos, Nigeria?
Doing
Kumi
great, doing
travels
great.
a lot.
Lagos for me.
I'm in
Uh,
Lagos, Nigeria,
Yeah,
Shomolu to be
I
precise.
think it's in Abuja. Oh,
oh,
it's
you
back.
did. Yes, he's back. He's back. Nice to have you back with us, sir.
Yeah,
Yes.
I'm back.
Cool. I can already see comments in the section. Bukola as a fan, yeah. Kofi's like great content about Bukola many years ago. Wow.
Interesting.
Yeah. Super. So if you're watching, you can check that out. Looks like Kofi actually interviewed Bukola years ago. And you see, like I said, these guys are my elders, right? In the beginning of time, they have been
I,
here.
I don't know what you're talking about. I don't know who's an elder. I'm just saying.
I seriously have no idea what you're talking about, but
Yeah.
you're saying it, sha.
Cool. But yeah, really, really thanks so much for all you do. So today we're going to be talking about Gamers Assembly. But before we do that, I'd love you all to professionally, not the way I have introduced you, professionally introduce yourself. What do you do to everyone watching? Let's start with you, Bukola.
So, hi everyone. My name is Bukola Akingbade. I am the founder and CEO of Kucheza Gaming. We're a studio based out of Lagos, making our own games and working on outsourced studio projects. I'm also the convener, obviously, in partnership with people in the ecosystem of Lagos Games Week as well. Kucheza Studios are the first, I believe, Unreal Engine authorized training center in Nigeria, and we run Unreal Engine training programs. Thank you. Ask me.
Nice. That's really impressive. Yes, spectacular.
My name is Adeshola Kumi Adenipebi, as I have changed my name to. I'm the CEO, co-founder at Game Evolution Esports. Game Evolution Esports is an esports company, basically trying to build a gaming and esports ecosystem in Nigeria by introducing esports to the next generation to understand how it can be monetized and can be a career path. We started 18 years ago. That's why this man here is calling me a grandpa, or whatever it is. And yeah, we've basically been at the forefront of pushing the narrative in the ecosystem to make sure that esports is here to stay, and we work with both international and local game developers to try and promote their games. And we are currently moving into televising gaming and esports through a live 24 hours esports channel called Evolution TV, which will be launching in like a month. Yay. Yeah, so that's us.
Super, super. You see, guys, these guys are doing stuff. These are the movers and the shakers of the industry. Great stuff. Yes, Mr. Edishola. Yes, Mr. Edishola. Please introduce
Yeah, there's a
yourself.
delay. Hello, my name. Yeah, everyone. Thank you for having me here, Mr. Oscar. Yeah, so my name is Edishola. I run the Lux Creation Studio. So we're a game development and an animation studio, but we pretty much focus more on the game side because with games you can create every other content that we want to create, like comics and animations. But for the games, we pretty much focus on cultural representation. That's like our main focus. Then we also try to solve the problem of sustainability in the space because we know there are a lot of people that can make games now, but how can you actually make money from your game? So we as a company, we try to like put sustainability of the business first, and so we try to make games that are market fit. Yeah, so we've been doing it for years, more than 15 years, making games, and we've seen what a lot of games have failed, and we have some that have actually shown some interesting results, and we look to the future. So pretty much for us, we are all about games, making games. So we recently released a game called Rasta Santa in January, and we're also looking to release some more games. And but aside from the games that we release, like the big games, we have some small casual games that we release like over the year. We just keep updating those games and constantly. Yeah, yeah. Deluxe.
The Lux Creation Studios. Thank you so much for that. And yeah, thanks to everyone joining. I see Chukuka says is joining in from Lagos. Hello, Chukuka. Nice to have you join us. Um, Munga Frederick says, great air. That will most likely be me, not Kumi. Yes. and Kofi, and Kofi says he's watching from Senegal. Thanks. So as the conversation goes on, please, if you have questions for any of the people on the panel, please drop them. Would really love to hear them. And I guess I'll start by saying a huge shout out and thank you to the Embassy of France in Nigeria for making this entire. I mean, this session would not be happening without them coming in to sponsor a delegation of stakeholders in the industry to attend Gamers Assembly, which for some of you who don't know, it's mainly focused on esports. But then they also had like an indie game arena. So they also have activities around game development to promote that sector. And for us who attended, there was a lot of stuff to learn, to unpack, to discover, which was very exciting. So let's start off with the experience of Gamers Assembly. For some of us, we came there as business delegates, while there were about four people who went for internship, right? And from, I think from Game Evo and from Cocheza, we had someone intern during that program. Do you want to speak to that, Kumi? What the internship was more about?
Yeah, so the internship was more like basically taking one of um, our employees to go and learn on the big stage how to do major productions for uh, esports esports tournaments, basically gaming events and esports tournaments. It was a very exciting one because as I was there, I was getting information on um, kind of thing they are trying to tour around. So when I got there, the name of our employee that went there is called Mayowa Oguntuga. So he was right in the middle of the full production on how to set up a world what do you call that in self English Tisakwa a
World class.
world class stage where he was able to learn how to use the new technology in production. Like for example, nobody in this lifetime will have ever thought from my end that these fiber cables that we're using for internet in Nigeria is basically what they use in TV production right now. It was astonishing to find out that that is how they are getting their crisp, clear quality content out. And then, especially and we go into online gaming, the way they set up their networking, the internet facility they use, how they did their firewalls, because they had like a huge room just for a firewall for hackers that were ready to come and hack in tournaments. So it was because they were, if I'm correct, because we had like 2,000 gamers there that came with their PCs, so they had like a
Yes, 2000.
yeah, firewall ready to stop hackers. And then each one of those players had a minimum of like 100 Mbps while gaming, which was dedicated plan. So all those things were what he went to learn, and which we are about to execute in our top secret events for Lagos. I don't know if it's top secret anymore. Everybody know it. Lagos Games Week is coming, and we're definitely going to be, unpacking some of the knowledge we learned from France there. It's going to be one of the biggest events happening in the gaming industry this year. So we're really excited to be part of it. So yeah, the internship was wonderful because the experience Mayowa had was something that you'll have probably paid a huge amount for. So shout out to the whiskey we say shout out to uh, the French consulate for making that happen. The experience was wonderful, not just for him, but also for me, because I went there as a delegate and I was able to, meet with a couple of people that were talking business with, especially in the content creation sector. So it was basically a wonderful event, and we we were happy to be part of it. We can't wait till next year. Hopefully, we get to join them too. Yeah.
Wow, that's really, really exciting. Yeah, I must say that sounded very, very cool. The firewall beats. I don't think we have this kind of problems in Nigeria yet, do we? At esports tournaments, do we have that kind of issue or need, Kumi?
Sorry, could you repeat that again?
The firewall bit, the whole setup, security setup for hackers. Do we
Yeah.
have those kind of issues? Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, we have. So that was even a big problem that happened last year at an esports tournament called Cage 25. Some hackers came there and were playing, and although they caught them, but it was hard because we had to put people in charge of them checking their mobile phones.
Yeah.
You didn't need that in France. The firewall will bounce you. Do you
Ah,
understand?
yeah.
And the reason why we're still able to do that in Nigeria is because we're dealing with 3264 people. They were
Yeah.
dealing with 2,000 gamers. So it made sense that they had to build an AI engine that checks them on site there. So that one is inside your phone, checking what you're doing, or inside your PC, checking what you're doing. So it's something that happens in Nigeria too, which we have learned how to do it, which we are definitely going to, use that technology in Nigeria now. So yeah, it happens in Nigeria.
Nice.
Yeah.
Super, super. How about you, Bukola? I think one of your staff, Bukola, as well, right?
Yeah, it's not allowed
Yeah.
to be called Bukola in the office though.
Oh, really? What's it
Yeah,
called at the office?
Awo. Everybody calls him Awo, Awo, Awo.
So that there's no confusion. That's
There's
really
no
cool.
cover because they know I will not answer again. If everybody is called Bukola, you'll now be saying you're calling me. I'm playing
Yeah.
though.
So yeah, he also went for the internship. What was your feedback from him with that? Yes.
So to be honest, I think the internship is one of the best things that's happened to our industry in a while because there are things that we've in the industry. Obviously, people that have done it either in game development or any sports setup and stuff like that. There are things we do very hands-on and we're self-taught, right? And half the time you're like, I'm doing this thing, I'm putting in my best. You don't really know what's missing. It's like somebody who is running a business and then after does an MBA. What you learn through that process, it's easier for you because when they're teaching you, you're using your practical mind to see the gaps you have, and then all of a sudden the light bulb comes on. Versus, I suppose, doing an MBA right from uni, like once you finish your first degree and you don't have the life experience of being an entrepreneur or running a business. So it was exactly the same thing for most of the people who did the internship. And I think for me, I think when we talk about skills, I'm talking about vocation. This is one of such examples that when you see people doing and you're part of that, you're integrated and embedded in those teams, you can really see what they're doing that you are not doing. And so for Awo as well, it was in the expo management area, obviously, because we are running Lagos Games Week and we have an expo section and we have partners and we have setup and stuff like that. And to just try to understand how they're able to do this at that scale. And for top brands, they had obviously so many global brands there. So it was so useful for him, especially also because he's fairly new to the world of video games and esports. But he's been organizing events, but not in this industry. So I think what's earth shattering for him. It was just like, what? How many? Because like that day that we were all trying to get in on the Friday evening, I think, and then the queue,
Yeah.
the queue of people carrying all their PCs.
Yes.
It was crazy. Everyone was like, what are they doing here? Everybody carrying their stuff because it's like you bring your own gear type of thing. They just sort out the infrastructure and you bring your own gear. So it was. I think you can't pay enough for things like that. And like everybody has said, I think shout out to the French consulate as well. As always, they support the video games industry significantly, especially in just giving us a lot of exposure to be able to see what's going on in the world. And bringing that back here to be able to do that. So we hope, I suppose, we'll test what our knowledge is next month at Lagos Games Week. But yeah,
Wow.
that's good.
That's a lot of hot seat for our Yes. And for you, Shula, you were basically there as one of the leading studios exhibiting. That must have been, that was exciting seeing people play your games. I know there's this build for Africa, build for the world. At least this time you were playtesting with people from outside the continent. And shout out to Infinix, by the way, for providing the devices that were used during this period. That was something very exciting. If I'm not wrong, I think there's a picture of that. Yes, that just came up in the screen. That's Eric.
Yeah.
Shout out to him, yeah, for making that possible. When you look at that, what was it like? Putting your game out there, getting French people, if I can call it that, to play test your game and give you feel. And they were playing cheeky, right? So can you share your experience with that?
Oh, so for me, it was I'd say it was a really great experience because usually we've done a lot of exhibitions in Nigeria and in Africa. You understand, like for people play our games, to talk to people. But the vision has always been to build, like I said, cultural representation, to build stuff that our people can relate with, but also export it to the world. Because the idea is not just to build for Africa alone, because we don't rely on that market alone. So we're relying on a global market, but being able to be in front of, because over the years we've got a lot of installs from every part of the world, but being able to listen and see how they engage these games, like right in front of me, and most of them were just playing because of the prices that we had in Phoenix. To be honest, although some did, but to be honest, it was really great because I saw how people were, and I figured out, okay, this is the kind of game that these people like, this kind of game that these people like, because I realized that one of our games that I thought was useless, like that wasn't really cool, that's a soccer dribble run. People like really played it a lot, but Chike was like, the Ghana, and the fact that people like the character Chike, and they were like, it was a great experience, and that's the first time exhibiting outside of Africa. Like, you understand? I think outside of Nigeria, I've never exhibited outside of Nigeria before. Like, I've been to events maybe in Ghana and in Cape Town, but never. Okay, yeah, I exhibited in Cape Town last year, but not like you have like table and your phones and people are playing. That was just urban fury. People just testing a fighting game. But this was a different experience. Like, we took our studio there and people were playing our games and they were giving feedback immediately. Not necessarily because I couldn't even hear most. It's not like I can speak French,
Exactly.
but
Ex-
yeah, but you can guess, like, oh, this is what this person is saying. Like, you use your sense now, sense. Like, so like, it was a great experience for me. Like, it opened my eyes to a lot of things, and I also saw the indie guys, the quality of games the indie guys were putting out. Are those people indie? Like, come on, man.
well, we'll get to that. We'll get to that. Yeah, relax,
Yeah.
relax. We'll definitely get to that. And just speaking on that part of French, yeah, Caleb is asking how was the language barrier. I know for me, most of the time I was just like we, see, we, Kumi, Bukola, Shola, Kumi as well. What was it like? Because I know you don't speak French, so how did you navigate the language barrier? No.
Hmm.
Uncle Google.
So I use Google Translate at the point.
Yeah.
So yeah, that
Yeah,
helped.
Bukola is just
It
shaking
was
her head.
basically it was
But
basically
I think
Google
a
it
lot.
was basically Google Translator, and although I attended Alliance Francaise one time, so I pick a little bit of what they are saying, but really
We,
it's not that good.
We.
see.
Uh,
That kind thing. That kind thing. Yeah, so I pick a little bit of what they are saying, but really it was the Google Translator for me.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it
And
was
shout out to Mariana and Pauline, by the way. By the way, they were on ground when the going
really,
was getting tough. We just like Marianne, please come over here.
by the time we
Translate.
were done with that, she ran away.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
think it was
definitely.
also quite helpful because because it was a global event as well. Though it's a Europe based or European event, the expectation was that quite a few people were multilingual or duolingual. So that was very
yeah.
helpful for us versus if we just kind of went into town or something to go and get food and then that's a different story. But we're lucky because it was a big event, and so the people expected, especially business
Yeah.
people,
Yeah.
expected to be able to speak a different language.
Yeah. Well, Pauline is saying hi. She said it was nice meeting all of you.
Woo! Hi, Pauline.
Yes,
Hi,
that's really
So there
Pauline.
was a guy.
Thank
There was a guy
you.
that came.
Thank you for
So there was
everything.
a
You
guy
are
that came
such
to
a
our stand.
wonderful host.
So there was a guy that came to our stand. So I was trying to tell him to come and play game, but he thought I wanted to dash him phone. So I had to tell him that you are going to play game to win prize, not you're not getting the phone.
Yeah. So we had the support. We had staff on ground, people who speak French helping us translate. And when they were not around, which was very rare, I think if it was something we could not handle, we always had someone on ground to speak to help us translate. And that's how we survived, Caleb. And that also speaks to the planning of the events. A lot of things, there was attention to detail in a lot of things that happened. And Kofi asks, how many people attended this event in total? I will just answer a lot. I don't know if Kumi, I think Kumi mentioned something like Bukola, like 2,000 gamers. To me, it was even
Yeah,
maybe
so
more than that.
no, that's the gamers only. The people those are the people
Okay.
that played in. That's the LAN event. So there were 2,000 people in the LAN event, but
No,
the
no, no.
the
Yeah,
full event was meant to be 25,000 people.
Yo. Yeah.
Yeah,
Wow.
And there were
that was what it was meant
cosplay
to be.
artists. I took a lot of
yeah.
pictures. Yes, Kumi?
I think no. I just saw Desiree pop up. Shout out to Desiree. We didn't mention. Shout out to Desiree for putting all this together. Desiree has
Definitely.
always been a number one supporter of the gaming and esports ecosystem in Nigeria. So I think Desiree can answer how many people came to the event in total. But yeah, there
It
were a
was a whole lot.
lot of people there. Yeah.
Yeah. Really, really cool. Really cool stuff. Yeah, we have lots of questions
Yeah,
and
he
some are
said 2,250 gamers, over almost 20,000 entrances within the
entrances.
3 years.
Three
Yeah.
days.
Wow.
Yes.
That's huge.
Very, very,
Yep,
very.
yep, yep.
And I think with this, I would move into my next question, which was like the gaming audience out there that blew my mind. These guys, as Bukola mentioned, they came with their own PCs. I know Kumi is going to start complaining I'm talking because it's like for me,
Obviously.
I saw adults playing games with their children. I saw moms playing different kind of games, mobile games, PC games with their sons and daughters. And it was like there was a real gaming audience here. It's almost felt like I don't know, but when you look at the market, how would you compare it? Looking at the gaming audience in Africa, or let's say Nigeria to be precise, and then from your experience in France, and everyone can speak to this. Let's start with Kumi. This is the esports guy, and don't judge our gamers for not having. You know,
Oh,
Africa is the mobile market.
I think it was earlier on today. I was still talking to Bukola about how the other countries react to stuff before it gets here. For gaming in Nigeria and Africa, it's not yet mainstream. What we are doing is um elders challenge. Sorry, that's Ugo. um, what we are doing right now, or what we've been doing for over a decade, is still building the foundation. And I'll tell you for a fact that in Africa, less than 2% of the population know what gaming and esports is. So, what we need to do, and with what I have seen in the global stage, or is how to push the um, the ecosystem live, which is one of the things that we're doing with our TV brand. We're going to have access to 291 million users, which is going to now propel everything that has to do with gaming in Nigeria and Africa to those people. Now, when we start having those people watch and consume the gaming content, when they see gaming events, it now occurs to them that this is what they are watching and they want to be a part of that event. Then they can attend. Then you now see families coming with their children, dads and their boys, moms and their girls, um, the university students coming willingly to events. like that. So I think by the time we hit that milestone of taking the game mainstream, we'll be able to see more of what we are seeing globally. Right now, we're still building the foundation, and I know very soon we're going to get there. So yeah, that's my take on it.
Wow. So we have to build our market before we monetize the market. Real elders challenge, as Ugo said. Yeah, Bukala, what's your take on this?
Well, so, and I think we had some of these discussions. Personally, my there's a thought that in our household we explore from time to time is, how do you create fandom? Like, fans are they're not paid, right? Like, they invest their time, their money, their resources, right? For example, shout out to a badly performing team, my team this year, Man United. We'll see what happens. But a fan is a fan. We're
Man, you
dying. It's been a decade,
for life.
but we're here. We're here. That's what fans do. And for the global markets, they have IP. They're like, and that's the thing. Like, a lot of us, when you say Mario, most of us, Mario since, right? And so you have, like somebody said, age of US player or gamer is 40, which means, from the era of Sega, Nintendo, even before that, Commodore 64,
Atari.
all the way down here, Atari, yeah, yeah, yeah. And now you're here. And so these IPs have been with them. So you have a loyal fan base, and that is what we saw live, especially like because there were two sides of the LAN events, if I remember correctly. There's one, the yellow side, where it is like everyday people that everybody brought their gear. For that's like, it doesn't matter your age. Like, I just love this. You fight for your stuff, you play, you get on that. Like, this, it's passion. It is fandom. It's because you love to play. It's because you love the titles, and I think that is what drives that kind of level of passion and stuff that we saw. And I think to get there, we need fans, and to have fans you need to have something for them to the IPs for them to be fans over, and you need to build that as well over time. And but we will get there, I'm sure. But I think that is at the moment. I think it's almost seems sometimes we cajole people, come for this, come for that, play this, but like, yeah, if you're a fan, the Chelsea fans are still fans, regardless of how their team is playing. Arsenal, okay, no,
Podcasting.
respect to Arsenal fans. I can't even speak. Well done, well done. You had a good season. But yeah, fans need something fandom is what we're trying to achieve to be able to create that kind of excitement.
Yeah. Okay, cool. And I'll pass it to Shola and speak in terms of how does this also influence your game development process, saying that Africa really is the last frontier. When it says the last frontier, it means it's the last. And I think I said it earlier today at a previous meeting, like the world has not gotten to the last frontier yet, right? We are still on the way to the last frontier. So how does this affect your, in terms of your target audience, the market? How does this affect your game developments? Because I know you build not just for the African market, looking at the fact that we are an emerging market in terms of gamers. Yeah. Okay, Mr. Edishola. Guy, use fiber network.
Please don't mention the name of your fiber network before
Yeah.
you go and be impatient, because I know he uses
No,
fiber.
no, no.
I
Actually,
know he
I
uses
was
fiber.
muted. I was muted.
Okay.
I was muted actually. Yeah, yeah. So I forgot that I muted. So I actually saw Ugo's text. I was like, okay, I'm quite interested in his theory. Yeah. So for
Yeah.
us, it's always been about. Did you want to say something?
Yeah, yeah. I was like, Ugo, please tell
So
us.
for us,
Tell us. Share this info.
so for us, that's always been about we've seen we don't need to consider the market in that way to build. You understand? Because most of the stuff that we consumed, as even as non-Westerners, like back when we were younger, mind. Like it was just okay. They made something for their culture. Like I watched a lot of Samurai X, which is like you understand Samurai X. I saw a lot of Chinese movies, played a lot of Chinese games, and these some of them didn't even have English. You understand? And so So for me, it's always been about let's make something like a story. What if we are working with a story, for instance, an African story? Like when we did Chike, the idea is wanted to make a game about an African boy that can create anything from scratch, but he has the so we added the Western appeal so that it can be global. So that's the whole thing about the steampunk jetpack. We didn't even go for cyberpunk. We went for steampunk because we went back to the Steam ages. Okay, so he's making a steampunk jet because it's not that easy for him to make or develop like a proper jetpack. So that was always been the approach for us. Like we don't necessarily. So when people hear that, oh, you are making games for Africa, we are not necessarily saying the kind of games we are making is for Africans. We are making these games that can appeal to everybody. Like Wukong. Wukong is not a Western game. It's Asian, like fully Asian, and even part of this, some of it had to be subtitled in English. You understand? So for us, it's just doesn't really affect us in a way, like even like affect our development in a way. Our approach has always been let us make this cool story that we feel people would love to hear all across the world. You understand? That's still the approach. Like when we did Rasta Santa Claus is like a um is not an African thing. You understand? So but we decided okay, let's infuse our own into it. So we made a Rastafarian Santa, and
So you
whenever
made
I talk about
Santa
Rasta
Rasta.
Santa, just the same way whenever I talk about Chike, people's eye little
So you made
we made
Santa
a Rasta
Rasta.
that dresses like Santa.
Ah, so you made a Rasta Santa, not a Santa Rasta. We see you.
I don't, yeah, yeah,
Yeah. Looking at what you're speaking now, I'll just pick Caleb's question. I know there are more questions there. Guys, drop your questions. We'll take them. I just don't want questions that don't connect with the conversation. But this fits in. And I'll go to Kumi because Bukola and Chala will be very biased, right? They are building games. So this one will go directly to Kumi to start off with. Do you guys think our game devs and studios have the prospect to meet such standards that was set at the event? Based on what you saw, where are we? Yes.
So we had this discussion like 4 hours ago with Bukola. So it's weird having this discussion now again. We have a long way to go, and I can't say I'm very happy with what developers are doing, but I am giving them 10 thumbs up for pushing themselves to do what they do right now. But I'm just worried about us trying to please the global industry without pleasing ourselves first. And for the indie game developers, I'm very, very okay with that one. There's a guy, I think I just saw his game now, Fair on Me Oladosu. He's building one of a fantastic indie game. I like what he's doing. I like what not because he's here, Deluxe Studios are doing because he's basically trying to please the culture. But most of what every other person are doing, I love what Malio is doing. Also, not because they are here, basic games and just trying to understand the market that you are in. Not trying to build a triple A game right now when we are not at the level that we're supposed to be doing that, or not building a game that fits our demography first, then we now sell it to the global stage. I feel if we're always trying to please the global stage, we're not at that. If the big AAA studios are not, pushing right behind um, the developers, it's going to be hard. It's going to be difficult. There's going to be a lot of critics that will destroy your game before you make it. Um, if we can sell those games to our community, the millions of Africans that are here, and then try and push beyond, I don't really see our game developers doing anything fantastic. Especially when they are not even doing multiplayer games that can connect all the users in Africa, not even the global stage. So yeah, that's for me. I'm not impressed with what most of them are doing, but I see them trying. I applaud them trying, but I'm trying to tell them, please, please sell us these games first. We have the numbers. Last year, Tencent was in Nigeria, Garena was in Nigeria, Carifest brought Activision to Nigeria. EA has dropped a server in Nigeria. They are all coming here to sell to us. You people to sell to us. We need you. Yes, because our numbers are going to push you to the global stage. Don't look at the global stage pushing you to us because t- they are looking for our numbers. So use what you have right here in Africa to sell to the global stage. So that's why I'm pleading with our game developers. Um, let's think out of the box and do something will that we will consume. I saw what Ludo did in Africa. It was a sick amount of money that they did, that over $26 million or something that they took out of, I think, Nigeria alone, not even Africa, last year. I can't remember what the amount. So there's a lot of money in the ecosystem. I had a meeting with a fintech, not a fintech, they are big. I don't want to mention the name of the company. On the free fire game, they're doing over $1 million in Nigeria monthly. So it makes absolutely no sense that our game developers are not chopping out of that money, and it's because they are not trying to build something that we are enjoying. They are trying to just do something that, for the outsider. That's my own view. That doesn't have to be, this. I'm just saying from my own. I stand to be corrected, but that's what I see as a gamer. I'm a gamer, and I stand by it. I've been gaming since I was 9 years old, and that's the only thing I eat and breathe. So I
Yeah.
think, yes. So that's
Okay.
what I've seen, and
Okay.
that's.
We will let Bukola and Joshua respond to him, but on behalf of all African developers, I'd say send us money. Yeah, I know everybody would agree game development is not cheap, but of course there are nuances to this. But it's good to see that there's also been huge development in the past few years, even in terms of the quality of games that is being created. So yeah, super. We'll take your feedback. We'll meet you at the back of the room. Yes. So now that he has also spoken on the quality of games, because this is also what a lot of people say when they say, "Oh, you're a game dev," they expect you to be building God of War, as if they don't know how much budget that has. They're like, "Oh, can you do Nigerian GTA? Go and see how much." The years of experience, the infrastructure available, the system, the resources available to the team. Really, I'm not giving excuses, but we also have to be realistic in terms of, it's like all those graphic, those clients that they come with very low budget. They're like, you do this, you do that. You do this. But yeah, so Bukola and Shola, please, they've spoken about the kind of games that are being built, and even on the esports side there's a whole lot going on. What are those systems, those infrastructure, those structures that you notice out there that are missing on this side of the world that could help propel us forward? Because, for example, the gamers assembly was supported by the government of Portia, and that was really impressive. They had some support from the government. In fact, it was like the old town, that was their event. They owned it, from the security officials on the road. It's like even the entire community knew that people were coming in for a gaming event. So, what are those structures, infrastructures you feel are missing that could help game studios and even the esports space as well move forward? So, Bukola, Shola, then Kumi.
So I would just deal with education. I'll start with education because whilst you might argue that um, it's a that's a vast discussion, but as you all know, game development it requires a lot. It requires different streams. It requires arts, programming, sound, marketing, production. It's it requires skill. It's I was still telling someone today that it's whilst obviously you require a lot of skill to shoot a movie, but to make a game, you have it's like a thousand, a million, like it's not that simple. For there's so many times I've spoken with people and they'll say this is the game that they're building. I'm like, yes, it is the game you want to build. And I know the first conversation, and shout out to Hugo, the first conversation I had with Hugo when we're a few years ago when we're working on the first edition of the Wild Kingdoms, and it was getting a lot more elaborate. And one of the things he said was the smallest part of the game, shrink the only thing you need to work on, forget the big story, just work on the small part of the game. And eventually that's what we did, right? And that's what we're able to shift. And I think sometimes it is the discipline of shipping is also quite important for an ecosystem to be able to get into the habit of churning, of releasing. And it's one of the things that, in terms of trying to focus, it's one of the things we need to do. But going back to education, um, if I use, because I'm on the UK education advisory stuff for the UK games industry, and when you see how far in advance they think about the curriculum in their universities, they think about what they call is it further education FE as well, which is kind of right after school, but not quite uni. They want to talk about vocation, like it's a whole system, right? And there was a game at Gamers Assembly. I'm trying to remember the name. It's Ink something. It was the final project of 16 students, and they worked on it. So what we're seeing was after they'd finished the final project, they worked on it for 8 months, 16 of them. And that if I'm sure you guys saw it, it was one quite close to our booth, the first one, Ink City or something, and Oika Bis or something like that. Anyway, but it was really good, and it was still an indie game that, in the scheme of all things, was on Steam or would be available on Steam, but wasn't released yet. But the point being, I think education is critical. Our we have a lot more computer science departments that are trying. A lot of the students are trying to get into game design, but then there's arts, and then there's just the reform required in the education system. But more importantly, also, I think the hands-on experience of getting help, interning at a studio. It's just we don't have too many studios. For us, as an example, one thing that really helped us last year was we wanted to get a chance to see the workflow of a game studio. And I was just like, see, I don't want all this trial and error. I really want to know what a proper studio's workflow is. And so that became the brief. I spoke to our partners, told them this is what I'm trying to do. And yeah, they booked meetings with two really solid studios. And they gave me 2 hours, 3 hours of their time to talk me through their workflow, to explain everything. And without that, it's still English I'll be speaking. I'll try to learn online. I'll try to go for a physical course. It's not the same as kind of getting that more vocational experience. So for me, I think education is a thing that we need to shift, whether that's vocational experience or actual, in our current curriculum from probably as young as junior secondary all the way to vocation or to proper university.
Yeah, yeah, I think I totally agree with you. In Africa, we are figuring almost everything on our own, and it can make the journey longer. Yeah, I definitely agree. Education, structured educational systems, exchange programs, internships, those kind of things would really help propel us. Mr. Shula, what do you think? What's your take on this?
So usually I like to avoid anything that has to do with maybe the quality of games that have been made here. But for someone that has been making games for quite a while, because I remember my first game, I still look at it and I'm like, wow, you understand? But it was a huge feat at that time, like you get. So I understand that most people that you see now, maybe even the young ones that just come in, it's still like their own first time as well. So they come in and they make something. So, and I'm sure, like Oscar and Komi have known me for quite a while now. Like the Stickman is our most downloaded game. The Stickman you saw in 2018 is not the Stickman now. Like we've upgraded it, we've remastered it. Even the Chike as well, the one you played at Gamers Assembly is not the one that we currently have now. We are currently remastering the game. Do you understand? Because that's just what I feel. And that's the thing. If you look at Mortal Kombat as well, like the first Mortal Kombat I played on Famicom is completely different from the Mortal Kombat that we're playing now. and it took them a journey as well. It took them a while. But aside from that, the fact that it took them a while, we tend to build out of nothing over here. Like most people don't even have the correct resources. Like I'm saying correct resources. I'm not even saying the resources. The correct resources to actually do anything, to compete. Like because when you want to start putting it side by side with games made out there. Even the university students, they have a particular structure that they follow to make a game, and when it comes out, it just comes out very clean and very good. But that doesn't negate the fact that the game might not be interesting to play, maybe fun to play, but the first thing people see is the looks, right?
Yeah.
So people see the look, they see how beautiful the game is, and they say, "Oh man, this game is good." So I can tell you for a fact that most people that even say, "Oh, maybe Nigerian made games are not that good," I've never ever maybe downloaded most of these games on their devices, because if they've downloaded it, we'll see reflected on the numbers as well, because I see a lot of numbers on the Google Play Store. I see some games, because I have a lot of mobile games made by the Africans on my phone. Like I just download, because I download games like every day. So when I now know that, oh, a Nigerian made game, I want to see the game, I want to play it, then I can now look, okay, maybe it has this issue, it has this, or but it's always like Bukola said, there's a skill gap, like a huge skill gap. Like I was having a conversation with Komi to the other time about multiplayer developers. We don't have a lot of developers that know how to do proper multiplayer. Like I know one of the best developers in Africa is my friend, but he doesn't do multiplayer. Do you understand? I'm just telling you the kind of problem that we have. So he does gameplay alone. You understand? And, it makes sense to specialize. But I'm just saying the skill set is there. But if we can, but I know a way around it, and which is also working for us right now, is also to get some level of resources. If you had a lot of people backing us, like maybe in terms of funding and resources, like do you get to make a lot of things easier, because with money you can even hire external guys from the western side and get them to come and train people over here. And because our people are super smart, it's faster for them to learn and pick things up. But without the resources, how many of us can say we want to hire a developer that charges 20K? You understand? So these guys are very experienced, and they charge a lot. Like so recently we're talking about hiring, because the kind of problem that we have at Deluxe is quite different. The kind of problem that we have is, okay, we are looking at user acquisition. How can we hit the big numbers in terms of installs? And that means we needed to hire a user acquisition manager. Man, I'm telling you, to hire a user acquisition manager is not cheap at all. So because I have a little bit of background in marketing, and so I tend to do that. I'm just telling you. So imagine I'm a programmer, UI designer, I'm an animator, a
Gbogbo
filmmaker. I'm
nishe.
still, do you understand? But Goboniche is not by choice, it's just by circumstance. You understand? So I'm doing all this because of the situation on ground. Like because our team has gotten bigger now, and we are still not enough. I'm just telling you. So I understand what Kumi is saying, but to build a multiplayer game like what is Free Fire that you people are saying, I
Owó ló lè
should we write
ṣe.
budget?
No, but so there's something
No,
that intrigues
don't
me
get me
though.
wrong.
There's
I'm
something that
listening,
intrigues
Buko.
me. If you see that there's tool makers called TMT. There's a game jam. Is it tool makers game jam TMGK or something? When you see the output, it's
GMTK.
a GMTK. Thank you. When you see the output of the game jam, right? This is days, right? So when you see the output, because so that then of we're really talking about skill for sure, but not as much in terms of resources. It's the skill gap is stark, like it's there. If you see when he does the review of the like, is it the top 20 for the year? Sometimes when I see those videos, I think about it, I'm like, first, like if you have a theme like duplicity or something like that, how did this person think of that from that perspective? Like there's so many layers. So, like it's but the point is there's a huge skills gap. I really think so that we need to overcome.
Nice. Kumi, let's hear from you. Don't let these game people overshadow you. But yeah, what structures, infrastructure systems can also push not just the game side, not just the game dev side, but also the esports side, especially as you've been clamoring for more collaboration between these two sectors. Yeah.
Sorry, can you just take that one more time?
Yeah, I said, what systems, structures do you think need to be in place to propel the industry forward, the local industry here in Nigeria?
So like Bukola said, skill gap is big. How do we get this um, problem solved? Is one of the biggest things I think we should first tackle. How do we create that um, next generation of great developers that will create those games um, that we're going to use to push our ecosystem to the next level? It's very important. One of the things that I'm happy that I'm seeing, like the Gamer Lab, um, if you get people, qualified people that will come there and start teaching the next generation what Kucheza is doing with Unreal Engine, get certified people that will come there and teach the next generation. I think right now for a game development um, sector, we should be thinking of how the we need to infuse the knowledge into the next generation, because this generation right now, with what I've seen, we can't get to the promised land. We are just going to, so we need to
Ah,
find a way.
ah,
Yeah, no, we can't. Sebe paro fura yin. No, no, no.
ah.
Sebe paro fura yin.
Bukola,
Okay,
yeah,
you
yeah,
know
yeah.
what?
Let him say this.
No, you know what the promised land is. You know what the promised land is. The promised land is at least achieving um, something. The tiniest game I can even call on PlayStation, or Xbox, that we can, something that takes us to the next level. Right now, what we are doing is trying to manage the top mobile game that people are going to consume stuff. We can achieve that, but what's going to put us on the map is the next generation. We're not yet there. Do you understand? That's why education is key. Somebody said education is key. We need to find those people that are going to take the next generation of game developers, put them on the map. you know Let these people, when they finish their internship, drag them straight to Malio, drag them straight to Kucheda, drag them straight to Gamer, drag them straight to Deluxe, to start building games immediately. That's the structure. Like, one of the things where we are partnering with KD Sports to do is create a very big hub set up with state of the art technology, that any game developer with skill come and either teach or produce, almost free of charge, if not free of charge. you know those are the kind of things that I think right now can bridge the gap in the game development industry. For esports, we are almost at our promised land. We are getting there. Because we don't need we don't need we don't need we don't need much. We don't need
Okay.
much. Look at now, we right now in
You're
EAFC,
right, though. You're right. You're
we're
very right,
producing
though. Because
some of the best players. The only thing we don't have is how to put them in the global stage, which is what we are trying to do right now. Find out how we take these boys out to start
yeah,
competing.
so Kumi, I like the fact that you said what you said now. That EFC, you mentioned EFC, and so that still goes back to the main problem that we have. So we make games, and like I've been making games for years. Bukola to the app games. Malia has been making games for years too. But I haven't even heard you say that. Okay, maybe you guys play local games made by local developers. So, and which is
Why,
part of the
why,
problem.
Yeah,
why would
but
they
we-
do that?
but but
But why would
but
they do
that's
that?
what we tried. But that was no, no.
No, but why would they do that though? Like
No, but
why?
we tried it last year. We tried it last year at Cage 25. We said all local game developers, please bring your games. We're not charging you anything. Bring your games. Let our gamers start playing. How many people got back to us? Will I kill myself in trying to? It's not like we want to charge. There are lots of people that we're trying to work with to help them push their games in the gaming community. I am a serious advocate in doing proper live streaming with Nigerian-based games. Now, Deluxe Studios, now I have a team based for that alone
Yeah, I know.
to just be
I
pushing
know.
Nigerian games. That's what we're trying to do. At
Nice.
the next stage now, we're going to still invite any game developer in Nigeria or Africa. Bring your game. Let's push it into our community. Let's see how they react to it. You get feedback from it. I remember in Edishola when you brought your fighting game to our tournament, you got good feedbacks from it now.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
know,
yeah, yeah,
I,
for
I
sure, for
introduced,
sure.
we introduced you to the FGC community. Those are the things that we should be doing. Lagos Games Week. Let everybody bring their games. Let us bring the gamers there. Let them sit. Let them criticize you. Let them tell you what to do. That's how all these people do. That's why they do gamers assembly. That's why they do major gaming events. It's not really about, oh, let's go and play. The esports part of it is like the front office. The back end is where you see all these game studios come there and showcase their games, which is
Sure.
something that we should be doing a lot of in African countries, working with our game studios to push their games out and letting the community see them. That's how there's more awareness. That's when somebody is going to come there and go and tell their friend, "Oh, did you see this game? Download it. Let's try it." That's
Sure.
basically it. So for me,
Definitely.
like I said, for esports, we are almost at our promised land. We need to now see how our game
Esports,
developers will get there.
esports is less complex now. Like you
Yes, it's
get
less.
because
That is less.
it's less
So
But
complex.
so
it took me. This is 17 years of me working to get us to the promised land.
yeah.
It's not
It's
easy.
we'll get there. We'll get there.
Yeah. So I guess once you get there, Kumi, don't forget us on this side with the money you
Sure, we
get along
will.
the way.
You
That's
know,
very
oh,
important.
that's one of the reasons why we're building what we're building now, so that we can
Yeah.
all be a family under one umbrella, doing things together. You know,
Super.
yeah.
Super.
So
And
yeah,
I think that collaboration between the esport and the game side is an ongoing conversation across. Even at the Gamerton in Kenya recently, Wesley had a session on community and even working with content creators and all, which the same thing came up. The game devs are building in isolation. They are not building what the community wants. They are not interacting with the community. They are not coming out for events. They said they are not so social and they want to build games for social people. But shout out to people like DMAX. DMAX in Nigeria has been playtesting lots of games made by Nigerian game
Yeah,
developers in partnership with Game Evo. Shout out to Brian the Beast. This is the African gaming ambassador. He has done a lot as well. And shout out to every other creator or organization out there doing it. I know, yes, Game Evo has done it with Cage Esports. Just this May, 10 and 8 as well. They had the campus event, the campus game fest. And I think Thursday and the in-between game was play tested at that event. Nexa Gaming is also doing the campus clutch. I think that's what it's called. And they'll be at Ibadan Comic Con Expo, Comic Con, Ibadan Comic Con, and other events, working with other organizations like even Game Vast Africa. So we're beginning to see that collaboration and we need more of that. So shout out to every stakeholder who is open to collaboration, working together. We're going to take questions now. I've held my panelists for more than an hour. So we'll just take some quick questions so we can wrap up. If you want to connect with them, please reach out to them. I'll drop their LinkedIn right before this call goes off. So connect with them. They are really doing awesome stuff. This one will go directly to Bukala because she's the one who mentioned Unreal Engine. It's from Tolulokpe Mojade. Says, what are your thoughts on the technical barrier the new version of Unreal Engine poses for people who can't afford high-end laptops? It's from me was here who said, don't do Unreal. But yeah, Bukala, over to you.
So it's because this is the area that this is the mountain that I've chosen to plant my flag. And yeah, it's not even, to be honest, it's not just the new version of Unreal, to be honest. It's Unreal, full stop. It's not just the new version. Because to run Unreal, you require the specs required are pretty high. So it's not this new one. Yeah, so it's an ongoing issue. However, Unreal Engine is also actively, I think there are two things they should have launched at GDC. Two things, which is Unreal for mobile, as well as just from a training perspective now. And there's a second thing. I don't have my notes here for that, but there are two things that they know that these are challenges, and they're also from the training side um, trying to bridge the gap. So being able to design for mobile, but your and I think they've also stopped virtual machines, because before they used to do that. I think they've stopped it. I'm not 100% sure on that, but it's always been a challenge to be able to use Unreal without having a really souped up system. It's one of the issues we have even with training. And when we go back to infrastructure, it's the same thing. At Gamers Assembly, the regular people, not even people that are trying to use Unreal, the regular people that are just trying to play games, see their devices, you're like, gang, what's all this? Like, it is, yeah. So it's the situation that we're in. I suppose if we don't have, so what we do sometimes is, because we have some systems, and when we used to last year, when we used to do physical training, then people could come into the office and kind of use the systems. But I don't think there's any getting around Unreal without using, if you're using virtual machines, you need a souped up system. I don't know that that's going to change anytime soon. But on the bright side, if you do use Unreal, it's amazing, right? It's amazing, and it'll be even more amazing for mobile soon,
Okay. Okay.
soon.
Okay. Shameless plug, no marketing done at all. Yeah, so we have another question from Yazid. I think I don't know, anyone can pick this. It's pretty long, so I'll just briefly go through it. I started learning video game development in 2018 because I dreamed of a career, but unfortunately, no opportunities presented themselves in Burkina Faso. I'd participated in game jams, free online training courses offered by NetInfo in Tunisia and Game Up Africa by Mali in Nigeria to gain knowledge. However, as a young African from French speaking West Africa, which institute can I turn to for opportunities or internships in the video game field? It should also be noted that most of the opportunities are mainly aimed at English speaking Africa. Although I speak English quite well, my country is generally excluded. I could just quickly, shameless plug here, check out Game Up Senegal. They're doing quite a lot of awesome stuff. The founder is also the founder of Gaha, and he has a game studio also called Maseka Studio. So the brain ecosystem there of French speaking people. Yes, indeed, a lot of the opportunities don't really go to the French speaking side, but like the Goethe Institute has been doing quite a lot. Goethe Institute, Abidjan, Alliance Francaise as well has done some things in Benin Republic and Senegal. So you might want to check those CCIs in your country to see what opportunities are there. Also, there are a couple of programs that are Pan African. Um, you can check the DLA by the Simulong people. That's the Digital Lab Incubator. Even the ARC Fellowship, we have someone from Benin Republic, we have from Angola, which are not necessarily English speaking, and we have people in those programs. So if you speak English, join communities. There's the Africa Communicate community, there's the Africa Game Developer community. There's so many communities out there. And there's Games Up Senegal, which you would have more French speaking people. I don't know if anyone wants to speak to this, Bukola Shola. Do you want to add to
Um,
this?
so I think that you guys are like the experts in terms of training and skill acquisition. So me, I only do like more personal mentorship for usual teammates and maybe people in the
Nice.
industry, but quite fun.
So if you need a mentor, he has volunteered. Reach out to him. I've dropped his LinkedIn over there. Yes. So Bukola, do you not want to say something?
Yeah, I'd love to connect. They can connect with me. That's fine.
No, I don't want to say anything about that. No.
Super,
um,
super.
mm.
Okay, then. So just going through quickly as well. Sophie says, I believe local gamers should support local game studios. Come out for play test. Talk about local game studios and the like. Yes. Yama Corp is a game studio in South Africa. They are currently looking for play testers for their game. I could drop this later on since I'm speaking now, but you can check on LinkedIn, and if you want to, you reach out to them. You can do that as well as a gamer to support them. Going through quickly and yeah, I think that's it. Kofi dropped a couple of amazing links there. He spoke on NetInfo, which is run by Samia. Samia and Mohammed have been huge supporters of the games industry all through the years, doing a lot of stuff. And also, he dropped the EDX course by HP, which just check the comments. All that information is there. So back to the panelists. What are we expecting from you? I know there's a lot of awesome stuff brewing. So we'll start with you, Shola. Any new game, any title. We'll go to Kumi and then we'll wrap up with Bukola and then we close for the day. Thank you so much for spending an hour, 22 minutes extra plus with me. It was nice spending my evening with you. Yes, Shola.
Yeah, so for us right now, we are trying to roll out the latest update for Riders Playground. So Riders Playground is our take on BMX freestyle, because I'm a big fan of BMX freestyle. So I just thought about it one day. Like I've not ever really seen a proper free riding BMX freestyle game on mobile, because I've seen some, then like it's always on a trajectory. They just run. You're not freely moving around. So I decided to do it. So we're on like the third iteration now. I started making it 3 years ago, and now we have like the best version of it, which is already on iOS. The update's already on iOS, and yeah, we also advertised Game-a-thon instead of the game, by the way. So yeah, but the biggest project we're working on is Adventure of Chike Lost in Meta, for of course. So Lost in Meta is our biggest project, and because it's not just a game, it's also an animated film and also a comic, and most importantly, it's a platform. So like our metaverse platform that we're building. So that's like our biggest project. But we have a bunch on the side. That one, so the skill gap thing is also one of the challenges that we're having, because making a fighting game is super difficult to do, and making it well, because after I showed it to the FGC, after I showed it to some of my friends like Wayne, Ali Dogan, they kind of like trashed it completely. Like, bro, you need to go back to the drawing board. And because of what we've done with Rasta Santa and Stickman, man, we can't afford to put out a game like that. So it's completely broken. But we brought in some new guys, some new devs, and they're currently fixing a lot of stuff, but it's still not there yet. So my focus is kind of like on Admiral Chike and the casual games that we're building. And yes, we're gonna be pushing Rasta Santa like massively this holiday. So just like hibernating for now, fixing some few things. Yeah.
If you have any technical issues, just feel free to book a session with me. Yes, Kumi. Let's hear from you, Kumi. What are we expecting?
2025 were focused on basically working with our partnerships with different tournament organizers that are organizing tournaments, likes of 1080, Kucheza, Malio, Gamer, yeah, the major esports tournament organizers, and KD Sports, which were and Carry Fest. Yeah, basically everybody. We're working with everybody to try and help them produce their gaming and esports tournaments in Nigeria right now. On the product end, we are launching our 24 hours gaming esports and lifestyle channel, which will be launching in partnership with MTN TV very soon, which has access to 290 to over 290 million users in Africa, and we believe that is going to be one of our empowerment programs, platforms for game developers and esports platforms in Africa, to help them push their products out to the general public. Because, like I said initially, content is key, and that's how we get to let everybody know about this industry and also get them engaged in what everybody is doing. So we are going to be partnering with basically everybody in the gaming ecosystem to help them push their products in Africa. So that's for Evo TV. And also we have a partnership with Kid Esports to build um, Nigeria's biggest gaming hub right now, which you have an esports arena, have a gaming arcade, and also have a lab for partnering with game developers and also training at least 1,000 people every quarter. It's a 1,500 capacity space, which should be able to hold at least 1,000 people in training session per quarter. So we're going to be partnering with all the gaming studios to also do that, both locally and internationally, to see how we can help build the gaming industry. So, yeah, that's our 2025 and beyond.
Hey, Kumi, you know we don't reject money in this industry. Eh? If you say Dushala take 10,000, Oscar take 50,000, we will say no.
That's what I'm trying
You
to
want
help
us
you
to
with.
build game on empty stomach? Do you want to kill us?
No, what we're trying to do is give the infrastructure and allow it, make it easier for your people.
Kumi, there's a Nigerian word called stomach infrastructure. Are you aware of this?
Don't worry.
I'm kidding. I'm kidding. But yeah, that's a lot. Awesome stuff. Awesome stuff. Yes. And yes, Bukala, let's hear what is the next big thing we're expecting from you.
Aye, okay. Well, I'll leave Lagos Games Week to the last thing. So, first thing I didn't mention earlier is our impact as a service projects that we do with schools. So, we run an annual esports tournament with schools at the end of the year. So, last year we had 16 public schools with 164 students. We did teachers training as well, trying to get them using games to teach computing, all that. So, we do that and we'll continue to do that. Shout out to the French consulate as well, who support those projects. But to answer the question that was asked also about, path to money, this money that you've been talking about, I really think, and I know the views are differ on this point. I really think that it's not every time. I don't think it's every time that everyone needs to make their own IP. I think making your IP is important, and I think if you can, you should. But I think there's a huge outsourcing market, and I think that there's a lot to be done in there. So in terms of what we are closing out in the next few months, we started working on an outsourced project in December last year. So that's one of them. It's a serious game. So it's a serious game that we're working on with for a foreign company as well, and that should be done in the next few months. And last but not least, Lagos Games Week is here again in the second year. It's June 19th to the 21st. Thank you so much, Oscar. Happening in Lagos. Play Without Borders is our main theme for this year. And shout out to all the amazing ecosystem partners, to Malio, to the French consulate, to Africa Communicate, to Deluxe, to Game Evo, to Gamer, to Mobile, to so like everyone who has to Xbox, Africa Communicate, everybody who has 1080 contender, like everybody who has actually chipped in for that. So 19th to the 21st is what it is. So that's Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Xbox is going to be at Xbox on the 19th, so that will be workshops, more of a community event, and then on the Saturday, on the Friday is the really big 3,000 kind of exhibition and talks and conferences. And a great part of what we're doing, obviously, we have amazing speakers lined up, or people who, from last year as well. We had Hugo speak, we had Carrie First last year, we had panels organized by 1080 and a lot of other amazing people who were there last year, but even Africa Communicate as well. And this year we have some people that we're going to be announcing, but I'm really excited about the lineup for this year. Like, super excited. Shout out to Desiree as well. Yeah, so it's been very, very helpful in getting quite a few of those people. And the other side I'm really, really happy about is the play games section on the Friday for this year, where we have partnerships going with like Ubisoft to do a game showcase for Assassin's Creed Shadows, and with us two games to do Monument Valley, and with Nintendo to be able to do Mario Kart and stuff like that. So I'm really, really excited about this year. So please feel free to register. It's live Lagos Games Week. .com, register, and we have the pitch stage. So if you have a game you want to pitch, please register to pitch the
Yes.
game. If you have if you want to showcase, there's an indie game showcase. If you want to volunteer, please register to be a volunteer. Thank you, and that's it.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you. Thank
I
you.
love the website. I love the website.
You're very good. Very good.
Thank you very
Can you
much.
plug
Very
you?
good web-
Okay
Very good
then. Yeah,
website.
this has been lovely. Thank you so much. I believe I've dropped the links to all the speakers. So connect with them on LinkedIn. Um, and reach out to them, really connect to them on LinkedIn if you have questions. We are definitely going to be at Lagos Games Week. We also have some small segments activations that we're part of that will be pushing there. So we at Lagos Games Week. And if there's anything, reach out to any of them. I believe they don't need any further introductions. Edishala, Bukola, Kumi, these people are pushing the industry forward, and we're very excited to be working with them in one capacity or the other. So thank you very much. Thank you, Bukola, Kumi. Thank you.
Thank you. Shout out to everyone. Hi, Kofi. Thank you.
Thank you. Sorry, quick one. Kofi,
Yes.
esports federations are actually supposed to help um, esports tournament organizers seek for funding and also create some sort of, a platform that helps them grow. They're not actually supposed to be giving people money. They themselves, they need money. So they are going to look for money and then find a way to find grants and all these things for this. They can't. They don't. Federations don't have money. Trust me. Not even in Nigeria.
Yeah.
All right.
Super. Okay then. Thank you very much. Have a good night. Thank you, everyone. Yeah.
Thank
So
you.
Good night.
so whilst the speakers we move them to the back end. Thanks to everyone for joining. This was really a pleasure and I'm really excited. I hope you've learned a thing or two. Please do not forget to connect with everyone. The LinkedIn URL is in the comment section. If you want to reach out to them, if you want to partner with them, support whatever they are doing, please feel free to reach out to them. On our own end, yeah, you should hear more from us. I mean, it's been an exciting year so far from hosting the Echoes Game Jam. Who will be at Lagos Games Week? That's another reason you should come to Lagos Games Week, definitely. To moving on to, I mean, Potier as well, Gamers Assembly, which we just spoke about, and then organizing the Gamerton in Kenya. In the coming weeks, we're going to have a recap, a debrief on that, where we'll share with you everything that happened. And moving forward, so see you at Lagos Games Week. We're going to be having the Meridian Meetups Nigeria. We just finished it in Kenya, Meridian Meetups Nairobi. So Meridian Meetups is coming to Lagos, Nigeria, May 31st. Watch out for the announcement this Saturday. And then we'll be at Lagos Games Week in June. And in July, we're going to be in Ghana for Gamerton Ghana. Remember, we're doing it in 4 countries. We're activating 4 countries this year. So that's Kenya, Ghana, and then we'll have some more afterwards. So, yeah, you want to connect with us, you want to work with any of the speakers, feel free to reach out to them directly, or you can reach out to us to connect you. But yeah, it's very important we seek out collaborations, partnerships, because only together can we move this industry forward. So, thank you and have a lovely, lovely night. Bye.